Hello, everybody. It's Michael Bentley here from the MST Metals and Mining team. I'd like to welcome today Peter Bird, the Executive General Manager of Investor Relations and Business Development at Rex Minerals. MST is initiating on Rex Minerals today. And welcome, Peter.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me.
Key asset with Rex Minerals is the Hillside project in South Australia, copper project, a large world-class project. Would you be able to just give us an overview of the project for us?
Yeah, so Hillside was the core project for Rex when it listed some time ago. It contains about 1.9 million tonnes of copper in resource. It's a classic what's called an IOCG deposit. On the 14th of December, we completed an optimised feasibility study for the project, which we're now moving forward with the funding process and potentially development subsequent to that. In addition to that, Rex holds the Hog Ranch gold project in Nevada, which we won't talk about much today, but I'd urge listeners to have a look at that on our website.
So the project's a copper project, obviously, and you've done a recent feasibility study for stage one. You've also got a stage two in plan because stage one only uses about half of the reserves. Can you give us a bit of an overview on how you look to go from stage one to stage two?
Sure. So it's probably worth talking a bit about stage one. So stage one has a ticket size of about 854 million, pre-tax NPV of about 1.2 billion. And stage one will run for approximately 11 years from commissioning. So at this stage, we're planning subject to funding commissioning in Q4 of calendar year 2025 for circa 42,000 tonnes of copper in concentrate. And sort of high 20,000 ounces in gold. Obviously, we need to settle stage one down. It's an open pit operation, proven and well-known technology, both in the mining part of the project and in the processing part. But once we settle that down, I think there is an opportunity to consider stage two. And if that were the case, it would kick in circa year 5 of stage one. But at this point, we're really focused on building stage one out, getting that successfully built, successfully commissioned and successfully operating. It's fully permitted, ready to go. So right now we're moving into the funding phase. So what the funding phase sort of envisages is part debt, part equity to build the project for that 854 million in capital. And we've engaged Macquarie Capital to assist us on the equity side in potentially bringing in a minority project partner to assist with that equity piece. Effectively, what that does is de-risk the project for investors and for the company, and allows us to sort of move forward as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. And you talk about the stage one of the project. It's obviously located in South Australia. One of its key advantages, South Australia is a long-time mining district and plenty of existing infrastructure. Can you just run through a couple of the key advantages you've got there?
Sure, yeah. No, it's a very good point. So what a lot of listeners may not be aware of is the area in which the Hillside project's located is called the Copper Coast. And there's a long history of copper mining in that area. And of course, in the region more generally, there's 3 very well-known copper projects, being Olympic Dam, Carrapateena and Promenade Hill, all of which now are in the BHP stable. But from an infrastructure point of view, it's about 1.5 hours from the capital city of Adelaide by paved road. There's both water and electrical infrastructure runs past the site. We will utilise elements of that. Obviously, there's an existing community which will certainly involve in and have involved already, but very much involved in the project. So when during building an operation, it's between 400 and 500 people will be involved in the project. So it's a very big employer for the region. But as you said, the infrastructure is fantastic. The concentrate production from the project, we plan to ship out of the port of Adelaide, and so we'll truck that to Adelaide on a regular basis. So yeah, we're blessed. Great state, great country, obviously first world country, fully permitted, very supportive community and government in the area. So, as far as we're concerned, we're just keen to get going on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, for a company of its size, Rex has got a very, very strong board and management. Can you just run through a few key people in the organisation?
It does. I mean, so the company's led by Richard Laufman. Richard's been involved in the mining space for a very long time, ex-Western Mining Corporation, particularly in the gold division in Western Australia. So been involved in many projects, particularly open pit mining, which is very important for this. Our chair is Ian Smith, who's well known to those in the mining community, ex Newcrest in particular and Orica. Greg Robinson sits on our board, also ex Newcrest, ex BHP, and in fact I worked with Greg at Merrill Lynch. And Andrew Seaton sort of is the last of the non-executives, who is an ex-banking guy and worked with Santos. And then lastly, our CFO, who's also a director, is Amber Rivermonte, and she sits on the board as well. So if you look at the balance of that board and the experience, collective experience they've got, it's very, very strong. And then I think, and as we're going on, we're employing key people to build the team out. And one of the most important people in that team is a chap by the name of Jason Shell, who I know you've met, Michael. Jason is very experienced in South Australia, very experienced in these sort of projects, having worked at both Whyalla and Olympic Dam in very senior roles or leadership roles in both of those. So Jason has a lot to do with the day-to-day activity of the project.
Plenty of experience, board and management on developing large projects, obviously.
That's it. And I think large projects in this space, which is, big copper gold projects, that's critical. And I should stress that, I mentioned it a bit earlier, but we're building a flow sheet and a mine that is not pushing the edge of new technology. This is all proven technology, all
shelf top stuff,
all proven equipment. So again, that's a huge risk management tool that we're putting in place. The more of those risks you can remove, the greater your probability of success.
Might just wrap up with just one thing that a lot of investors are taking a lot of interest in these days, particularly in the mining space, the ESG side of things. The environmental side and social probably being very important in the region. Can you just give us a bit of a wrap up on how the key ESG points for the company?
Yeah, I suppose the most obvious, or the elephant in the room, is that copper is the key element for the electrification of the world, and we can read about that, and so we're very blessed to be involved in that commodity and in that space. But I think then if we focus in on both community and energy in South Australia. Currently, the South Australian electrical grid is about 70% renewables, and the state has an objective to go to 100% in the next few years. So, that's an enormous positive, because we're going to draw off that grid. And in time, of course, we'll have initiatives inside the fence to improve upon that. But I think in the shorter term, that's a big plus. I think from a community point of view, we're very involved both with the local and the Indigenous communities for an involvement in the project. We're very proud of that. We've worked on that for a very long time. And I think that's a key element, because mining is more than just, digging up, producing a product. It's for the benefit of everyone, if you like, in the supply chain from, site right through to final product. So, they're really big pluses for this project. It ticks all of those boxes. First world, clean and green, long life, and I think it will benefit the greater community in a big way.
And you did mention that there's going to be about 500 jobs created for construction and ongoing around about 400. Is that
approximately 400 ongoing? For the stage one, first 11 years.
And obviously all the sort of business that goes with that for the local community as well. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, and whilst we don't see a benefit, but as a rough or crude rule of thumb, for every job you create on site, there's 3 to 5 jobs created off site in either the local or the broader community. So clearly it's going to have a very positive and meaningful impact, both not only from taxes and royalties, but more just in the general community as an employer for the greater community.
Well, that's great, Peter. Thanks for your time today, and we look forward to working with you going forward. And obviously, one of the key things to look forward to is the funding that you're looking for that partner.
Yeah, no, we are. So it's on our website. If you have a look at that, our objective is to try and stitch that up towards the middle of this calendar year.
Yep.
And that if we can achieve that, what that means is that we get on and build the project for commissioning in the last quarter, so December of calendar year 2025 for first production.
Very good. Thanks for your time today. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Peter.